Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome. It is time for us to get moving on Unit 4. So after this week, we will be halfway through the course. This is a good time to check in and make sure that you are all caught up on everything, and that if you have fallen behind, that you make sure you reach out and get some extra support and help. Okay. 8-week classes go by so fast, and it can be overwhelming if you fall behind. But please do reach out. I'm happy to help you get caught up if you need some extra support. So we're going to take a look at what's happening this week. It's a fun one. Your main assignment this week is something different. So let's go ahead and open the course, and we're going to go into Unit 4. Our theme word this week is inspiration. Let me turn on the student view so it looks right for you guys. And oh, it took me back to the beginning. That's fine. There we go, Unit 4. So we're going to be focusing on goal setting this week, and you're going to be doing a couple of things with goal setting, one in the discussion board and one in what we call a vision board. So let's take a look first at the readings and resources. This week, you've got a chapter from Johnson, as usual. This week, you're reading about keeping it simple in chapter 8. A lot of times people have kind of a mistaken idea that academic writing has to be super elaborate. And this is something that happens a lot in this particular course. Some of you may have even seen some things to this effect in your feedback. If you are asked to write a paragraph, it is important that you write a paragraph. Sometimes people feel like, well, if I'm assigned a paragraph and I write 3 paragraphs, then I'm going above and beyond and I'm going to get an A plus. And that is not true. It's just not. Um, Sticking to what is actually being asked is one of the single most important things. And that was something we really tried to focus on, especially last week, as you were looking at the rubric. Doing more things does not mean that you're doing it better. In fact, oftentimes it sends up red flags. I mentioned this kind of in um, the announcements last week. One of the strongest temptations in the modern world, of course, is to take a tool like ChatGPT or another of the AI generating websites and put a prompt in and say, write this for me. And what typically happens is that ChatGPT will write something that is super elaborate and much longer than what you're actually being asked to do. And if you had just done the work yourself, it would have been a lot better and it would have had more personality and soul. So, if you find yourself tempted to take those kinds of shortcuts, I would encourage you to stop and think about it and remember that none of us, your instructors, none of us care what a computer thinks. We want to hear from you. And so if you are not doing your own writing, it's going to come across. So keeping it simple is a part of that. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're reading chapter 8. The next item is creating visuals. You're using visuals to enhance comprehension and recall. We have another chapter on goal setting, on the power of commitment. And then there's some supplemental resources on goal setting, along with some videos that will help you with the growth mindset concept, as well as creating SMART goals. And SMART is a very common goal setting technique, that the video is great. So make sure you watch the video. Anyway, so once you've done those, you will be able to move on to your discussion, which this week focuses, as everything does, on goal setting. This week you want to focus on 1 or 2 of your personal goals with the class. I'm going to highlight this as I talk about it because everybody skips over this and goes straight to the questions. Do not skip. Go do this first and then answer the questions. Share one or two of your personal goals with the class and explain the steps you plan to accomplish them. After that, you will answer these questions. How will a growth mindset help you achieve your goals? And what is one thing you learned from your lessons this week that has helped you to set your goals or to create your plan? This should not be just answers to the questions. If you do not share a goal, at least one personal goal, then you're not going to fare very well on this discussion board. This is also a great reminder that this is part of the power of discussing, is that when you are reading about other people's goals, you have an opportunity to encourage them and to maybe share some thoughts on your own goal setting and how you would proceed if that was one of your goals. So 3 good solid posts. Your own post should be at least 6 sentences. And as you post to others, you want to make sure that you are really speaking to them and not just going, hey, yay, whatever the case may be. Aim for 3 to 5 sentences and at least one question as you respond to each other. And also remember to come back and answer any questions that have been posed to you. It's not really a discussion if you ask somebody a question and they never answer it. So keep that in mind. You do not want to only log into the discussion early in the week and then never look at it again. Even though a lot of you can finish like your official, like, oh, I've done all 3 of my posts, make sure you come back before the end of the week and respond to others. Okay. Finally, we're going to talk about the vision board. So the vision board is a different assignment. It is using visuals rather than writing something. And we're going to be using a PowerPoint slide to create the vision board. You do not have to use the PowerPoint template, but if you don't, I will warn you that a lot of people end up not getting full points because they didn't do what the assignment requirements were. So you are going to share a total of 3 pictures and 2 inspirational quotes. You can do that another way besides on the PowerPoint slide, but there's no reason not to use it. It's part of Office 365. You have free access to it, much like Word. So we're going to take a look at the template here in a second, but first let's go over the requirements for the assignment. So in this activity, you are going to create a vision board that focuses on your future goals. Throughout this class and your time at Post, you will use these goals to shape your education and plan your future. Open the vision board template attached to the assignment in unit number 4. You may also use, like I said, a different tool if you choose to do so. Fill in the 3 blank spaces with photos that demonstrate 3 of your goals. Now, there are images provided for you. There's a third slide. We're going to look at it when we get there, but there's a third slide that has some images that you can just move to the second slide. But you can also upload your own photos. You can find images online. There's any number of ways that you can locate photos that will explain some of your goals. Now, there's instructions here on how to find images within PowerPoint. So once you've got the template open, you can use these instructions. I'm going to show you this, but I will remind you that you can always come back to this sheet and use the exact directions here. It does walk you through it. So there's 3 spaces for video for visuals, and then there are 2 spaces for quotations, and they should both be quotations that speak to your goals. So we're looking for inspirational things said by other people. That's what a quote would be. You're going to make sure to include the name of the person who said the quotes. And I'll show you how to find quotes, how to use quotes, how to do all that in the demo. So if you do not have 3 images and 2 quotes in the vision board, you will not receive a great score. However, if you have 3 images and 2 quotes, you will receive 100 points. So I can't stress enough. This is a fun and easy assignment to succeed at, but a lot of people skip over things. So please don't skip over things. Please just, follow the template and you will be good to go. All right, so I'm going to open the template and I'll have to reshare here. So bear with me one second. Okay, so we're gonna share and we're gonna use PowerPoint as well. All right. So what you are looking at now is the PowerPoint template. It is 3 slides long, and you can turn it in with all 3 slides. You can also get rid of the first one and the last one. The middle slide is really the actual template for this assignment, but the instructions are here again, and the last slide includes some of those photo examples that I mentioned that you can use in the assignment. So you don't even have to go find other photos. If you are inspired by at least 3 of the ones that are on the examples page, you can just use all of those. So here is what your vision board will look like, and we're going to fill in some text as well. So we're going to put our name, and then you'll notice that the photo ones all say add title. So I'm going to put some goals here. I'm going to put retirement. I'm going to put travel, and I'm going to put half marathon. Okay, so those are my goals. Now, if you type in text and it doesn't all show, you can just make it smaller. It will all show up there. So you want to do that. And then you have 2 spots to put the quotes, add a quote here and type text here. We'll do that in a moment, but let's get our photos first. Okay, so let's look at the photo page for an example. This one, I feel this beautiful, peaceful home says a lot about retirement. So I'm going to copy this one and I'm going to put it in the spot that says retirement. So I'm going to paste it in and I'm going to move it into the box and I'm going to make it a little bigger so that it takes up the whole space. Okay, so there's my retirement photo. Travel, let's say I want to add something from the internet. So I'm going to go to insert and I'm going to choose pictures and I'm going to choose stock images. That's what the assignment sheet suggests to you. And that is a very easy way to do it. But you can also use your own photos. You can search for pictures online, but we're going to follow the directions. So we're going to use stock images. Okay. So let's put travel. One of my places I would love to travel to, uh, and I just went there last year, but this behind me is a photo from Norway. We traveled to Norway and Denmark. I really want to go back to Denmark, so I'm going to put in Denmark in the search and see. Oh, I'm going to try. There we go. Okay, there's nothing in the stock images. Let me just put travel. Yeah, of course, we have a lot of things. Now, I'm going to use this bicycle one. And the reason I'm doing that is because one of my goals in going back to Denmark is to do another bicycle trip. We did one in Germany and it was so much fun. So I'm going to choose this one. The photo should be reflective of you and what you're really interested in. Now, I mean, I could just as easily put a big, like an airplane. I mean, there's anything that you could do that indicates travel, but I happen to really have that goal of a bike ride. So I'm going to use bikes just because I can. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to add a photo of my own. So I'm going to put insert and I'm going to do pictures and I'm going to do picture from file. And I'm going to use one of the running photos that I already have. In April, I finished a 10 miler, which so far is the longest race that I have ever finished. And then in September, I have scheduled a trip to Disneyland for the half marathon there. And that is my last accomplishment that I want to make in the running world. I still want to keep active and do more running, but that's the only like, oh gosh, I want to finish this distance. I have no desire to do a marathon. I got started way too late for that. So I'm going to pick, let's see, there's a bunch of running photos in here eventually, and I have a whole bunch more on my phone, but I'm gonna use, hmm, I'm gonna use one of the fun ones from a previous Disney race. Let's use the one with all the Elsas. Why not? This is my sister, my brother, and me as three versions of Elsa. Patrick's husband was also participating, but he got sick that day, so we would have had four Elsas anyway. So there are my three photos. Okay, now all I have to do then is add two inspirational quotes. And I'm going to do that by going back to the internet. And we're going to do a search for quotations. There are a ton of websites with inspirational quotes on them. I'm going to put in something very specific though. Inspirational running quote. So it applies to the running. 25 motivational quotes to get you back in your running shoes. Okay. So, um, I like this one. The voice in your head that says you can't do this is a liar. You notice not all of these have people listed, and if they don't, they do give you the unknown thing. So we're just going to copy this, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste it into this box. I don't really need it to have a number, so I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to make this a smaller font so that it all shows. And I'm going to move it to where it shows in the box. Voila. All right, let's get one more. Go back to the internet. And let's do let me go back to Google. Inspirational travel quotes. There we go. You can also just search for inspirational quotes. Like I said, there's a ton of websites that have things that you can use. Not a not a hard thing to find. So this one has inspirational quotes about traveling specifically. Um, oh, this is one of my favorites of all time. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all of one's lifetime. By, of course, famous American author Mark Twain, who is also a Missouri writer, which is where I'm from. So I am a big fan. Okay, so that kept their weird font and size. So I'm gonna make this Calibri and I'm gonna make it 12 probably. Oh yeah, I don't even need it to be quite that small. All right, and then I'm going to move it to where we can see it all. Voila, done. This is my vision board. It is done. I have three pictures and I have two quotes. When I am ready to turn it in, I'm going to save this because I'm going to give this to you as a sample. So we're going to call this sample JP vision board, which I will attach to the announcement. Let's put that in our documents. Okay. So let's go back to the class. I can close this. Let's go back to the class. There we are. Okay, so when you are ready to submit, you're going to do it exactly the same way you've been doing it. You open the assignment and you want to upload the file. You will have saved it. You're going to upload the file. It's going to be the first one in my presentations. I am still going to agree to submit this to the global reference database, even though it is not a written paper. It's the same process, and we click submit. Now, when you first submit your vision board, typically when you submit a Word document, the preview pops up right away and it's super quick. You may find that it does take a while for this to upload because of course it's got pictures in it. It's a large file, but it will work. So you certainly can use a different method. If you prefer to do it in Word or something like that, you can, but I highly, 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 highly highly recommend using the template. I cannot stress enough how many times I have seen people not get a good grade on this assignment, and not because they didn't have cool goals and vision, but they just didn't do what was asked. So please do yourself a favor. Make sure that you are meeting all of the requirements on this or any of our assignments. Okay. So with that being said, it is done for another week, the walkthrough at least. Tomorrow evening, don't forget there is a workshop at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's hosted by me on Teams. And if you are there, it does give you a chance to ask live questions. So if you are needing some extra help with this assignment, that would be a great opportunity to get it directly from me in a live session. And if not, of course, we do record those and I can share that with you as well. That's it for week 4, and then we'll be halfway through. So go team, you got this. If you need any help, please do let me know. I am happy to